Okay, so we've discussed 120 volt charging, the regular wall plug, which actually is right there. We discussed 240, which is off my Trier plug. And this video is about the wall charger. So this is my wall charger. So let me start from the outside. All the heavy load stuff in my house is run from this panel on the outside. So the lighter load stuff, that the whole house basically is in the garage, but any 24 volt or any, a lot of the heavier 24 volt stuff runs off of this box. So when they put it, so they ran a power cable from this box and ran it into the roof. Okay, so let's start with this. So the roof, well, the ceiling, I have a den. So I have a den. It's the ceiling of that den and the roof. The only difference between the two of them is the insulation. So it's pretty tight in there. So anyway, the electricians ran from that outside panel up over under the roof or over the ceiling, and then they found that they could drill a hole up here and drop the cable into here. Okay, so that's how they did that. So yes, I paid an electrician to come in and do all that. So that ran down to my wall charger right here. So that's a 60 amp if I remember it right. And so this charger runs at 48 amps. Now, you could put the charger on a lower amperage and it would be just fine, but this is what I got. Okay, so at the time I bought this charger, this wall charger, my thinking was sooner or later I'm gonna get a second electric car. And I figured it would run off of J1772. So, okay, so that means that this plug is a J1772, as you can see by there. It still has a 24 volt cord, a 24 foot cord. And so I've paired it up with a J1772 to Tesla converter, which is what I use to charge up my Model Y. Okay, so normal practice, I just leave the J1772, the Tesla adapter, sitting on the cord or the plug. Okay, so this charger does have smarts in it that you could use on your phone, but doesn't display anything. I mean, you see I don't know if you can see it well, but there's a green dot there. So while it's charging it, it shows the green dot kind of dashing down or dashing up, I forget which way. And when it completes, it'll turn blue. It'll stay blue until you unplug it. And so in standby, there's just one green dot sitting there. Anyway, the other reason for getting a Tesla wall charger, I mean, there's the obvious part, but anyway, someday I would like to order a blue plate to go over this instead of the black, just because my car is blue. But anyway, that's another subject. So there you go. So this runs up to 11.5 kilowatts, 48 amps. So it charges much faster than I need it to, but I mean, I didn't see a reason for going to a lower rate of amps. I mean, there's just no point to it. And the faster you get it done, the faster you can move on to a second car if you have a second car here. In theory, this charger is set up to put in like apartment building or something like that, where you can have a series of chargers wrapped together. And I had that thought, but the cord is long enough that it's not a problem. So let me step back a little bit. Here you see that there's the garage door. So basically this cable is long enough, when the car is pulled in, it'll wrap around the car. That would be here. And that won't be a problem. In theory, although I haven't tried it, the second spot in my garage, which currently has jet in it, could also, the cable could reach to it as well. Like I said, I haven't tried that yet, but that's the theory. So I don't know. We'll see how all that works out. That's a long ways away. Okay, let's get the car in the garage and let's get her charged up. Okay, so let's take a peek at the charging display. I'm at 42%, state of charge 42%. I currently have the limit set to 70%. Tesla recommends 90, and I've heard some other friends recommend 80. Well, most stuff I do, if I have 70% in my battery, I have more than enough range. In fact, let's see, I'm at 41% right now, which is maybe 128. So if it's not quite double that, but anyway, it'll be over 150 miles, and that should be sufficient for any kind of driving around I do in town. Now, if I'm going for a trip or something like that, yes, I would probably want to do something a little different, but that's not what we're doing normally. Okay, so for those who are wondering, yes, indeed, if this car was also a Tesla plug, or an EV anyway, yes, the cable would fit. So we're good there. All right, so here we are. Open the charge point, push it open, and then light blue, white, dark blue. Click. There we go, green, charging. Okay, so the difference here is, because I don't have the Tesla plug in here, I can't just push the button. Okay, and there we go. There's the flowing green lights indicating that we're charging. Let's take a look at what we're going to estimate as we're slowly ramping up. So we're at 9, 10, 11 kilowatts. There we go. 48 amps. Good to go. 245 volts. So there we go. It's estimating it's going to take about 2 hours. So basically, to put in 30%, it's going to take 2 hours, which is not bad at all. Okay, guys. So I just got notice that my charge is complete. As usual, when you adjust the percentage, you can't get it exactly right, so it's on 69, not 70. But there we go. It's good enough. So that translates to 213 miles. I'm happy with that. So it added 20 kilowatts. It was about 10 minutes short of 2 hours. So it charged up just a little bit faster than what I might have anticipated. Let's make sure I got this right. 213, so you can see that. 69. So yes, I've already unlocked the charge port and unhooked the plug. Anyway, we're all good to go. So 20 kilowatts. So we went from where was I at? 40 something, right? So it was at 42, I'm up to 69, 20 kilowatts. There you go. So with the wall charger, it only took 2 hours to put 20 kilowatts into it, which is enough for cruising around, really. Anyway. Okay, so some of you, I mean, there is a cost to have an electrician come out, run a wire. And in fact, the electrician's also the one that installed the charger, which was kind of required. So what was the cost? So well, obviously I've been struggling with the cost myself. I mean, I'd been using the dryer port to some extent. Anytime I want a bigger charge, I use a dryer port. I've used the 120 volt, but you know, that's kind of slow. and I wasn't particularly happy with it. But although I've done some charge videos and you've seen them, where was it great? No. But was it sufficient? Yes. So anyway, that's another subject. So when I showed you the dryer port, I said in that video, I saw that as a short-term solution. That sooner or later, I would eventually go to a wall charger. And so I have gone to a wall charger. Now, was there expense? Yes. Is it more than you'd want to spend? Quite likely. And let's face it, since the Tesla charger I got has a few extra bells and whistles, I think. And it's a J1772, so that was a special feature too. So I paid more. That was $550 actually. But the reason why I went ahead and went forward was because I wanted to have a wall charger, and the it sounded like I get an income tax credit. Okay, so when I did my taxes, they had a hard limit to restrict it down to $1,000. And yes, I paid more than $1,000 to run the wire. So I didn't get all of it back. Now, I got $1,000 back. That was okay. That was good. I'm very happy to have a wall charger, yes. But I spent more money than a lot of people might want to. And including me. So there's a trade-off. I mean, so think about what you're doing. Now, there's an alternative to what I did. I mean, yes, you still have to have an electrician run the wire, but you could have them terminated in a 1450 plug. And with the 1450 plug, you could use your portable connector to charge your vehicle. And that'd be perfectly fine. I mean, portable connector only costs $230, I think it is. Or you could go for a somewhat cheaper wall charger. In the past, I would have recommended you might want to look at Wallbox, although Wallbox is not any cheaper, I don't think. You could shop around for a Tesla charger that is a lower capacity. So if I was looking at cutting down how much I pay for it, I would check to see if going for a lower amperage like 30 amps, if that would save me any money. Now, all you're saving is the cost of the breaker, right? Whether you go 50 amp or 30 amp, what's the difference? So I don't know. I mean, that's something that you would look at. But I have a feeling it probably doesn't save you all that much. I mean, that's a question for an electrician. Okay, run the wire, terminate with a 1450 plug, use your portable connector. Now, what I eventually did was I got a second portable connector, so I kept one in the garage. And the purpose of that connector was to charge the car. Now, you can buy what Tesla calls a cable organizer, and that would allow you to stick that portable charger into a holder and run that up to the plug. And then it has a second place where you can loop the cable, and that would work great. I mean, I haven't done it myself. I just know it's there in the shop. So that might be an option to think about to cut a few corners, a few costs. I shouldn't say corners, but cut down on a few costs where you don't really need to spend the money that much. So if you went for the 30 amp, yes, you would only get around 6 kilowatts. 6 kilowatts, yes, as opposed to 11 with the wall charger. I mean, that works. And actually, you could hardwire a 30 amp connector, 30 amp wire breaker for your wall charger. You could do it that way. I just don't know if you that's really worth it, but the charger will handle being on a 30 amp circuit. So, I mean, that's possible. With whichever way. Think about what you're doing. Before you buy an EV anyway, you should already have a plan for what you're going to do for charging. I mean, if you buy an EV without planning how you're going to charge, and you should be charging at home. Most of the time, you should charge at home. So the question comes down to, is the 120 volt enough charge for you to drive around most all week? I mean, charging every night, don't get me wrong, but charging it overnight, charging for 12, 14 hours, will that give you enough energy to run the next day? And hopefully eventually you'll build up enough charge where you're getting closer to an 80% battery. You know, that's the way I would look at it. Or if occasionally you could, but if you had a 240 volt outlet in your garage, that's what you should be using. So anyway, if you're building a house, definitely have them run at least one plug, maybe even two plugs into your garage. Right? I mean, that would make the most sense. With the charger I have, you can run two chargers on the same circuit, and they'll load balance. Will they reduce power to each of them? Yes, but you could load balance where they both work together and don't trip the circuit. So you could do it that way too. It's just you're adding up more costs. I have no idea if I don't think the portable connectors have that smarts. I haven't looked at that. I never thought about it. But then again, if I were to plug in two cars into separate plugs, it's still running on the same circuit. So I guess that would work. Anyway, I'm getting a little off track. My main goal with this video was to show you what happens when I charge at home on my wall charger, and give you an introduction what my wall charger is. If you're going to have a Tesla house, I would not get the one I got. I would get the Tesla port, the Tesla plug. I mean, I was looking at the flexibility of having a J1772. But anyway, either way. So I think you could shave $50, $60 just going straight NACS or Tesla plug. Anyway, one of the key follow-up points, though, and that's what I was saying, was you should have an idea how you're going to charge your car. And I see a bunch of y'all have looked at the charging video, so that's good. This is the key part you need to be looking at. The question of whether or not a Model 3 fits in your garage, that's not a critical question. I mean, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But if you're parking a Camry in there, a Model 3 will fit. And I think even a Model Y, you may have to move some stuff around, will fit. Because the Model Y is actually about the same length as a Camry. And the 3 is shorter. Are they slightly wider? Yes. I mean, the 3 and the Y. Anyway. Peace and harmony. Hopefully this series of videos helps you figure out what it is you're going to do. I mean, if you're just driving 10, 15 miles into work and then 15 miles back, a 120 volt connector will work for you. And even if you said, well, for today, I'm going to treat my Tesla as the second car, the work commute car, and then leave a ICE car as your primary going around town car and going on trips. I mean, that's a reasonable thing to do at this point in time. Of course, my Model Y is my primary vehicle. It is the vehicle I take on trips. So it's not that you can't do it, but every person has their comfort levels that they have to build up. Anyway, there you go. If you really need more energy, get the wall charger. You won't be sorry. 11.5 kilowatts makes a big difference in how quickly it charges up. If you can get if you can find a way to hook into your dryer port, if your dryer port is available. I mean, some garages have hookups for washer dryers in the garage. And all you need is the right connector to connect it up. Now, you might have to back into your garage to make that work, and I've done that. And let's face it, with the facilities of the car, you can back up fairly easily. So that works too. So, with some thought, with some preparation, yes, you can make all this work. If you're someplace where your nearest supercharger is 300 miles away, it's never going to work out for you. If your nearest supercharger is within 100 miles, you don't have a problem. Even at 150 miles, you can make it work, right? I mean, although to be fair to you, my closest supercharger is only 18 miles away, something like that. So I can easily get there. And then once I'm hooked up to supercharger, I can go anywhere, right? Now, there's some places in the United States of America where I probably couldn't go just because it's too far away from a supercharger. Or the round trip to someplace and then back would be too far for us to connect up. But, I mean, I've been to San Diego, I've been to Boston, I've looked at the possibility of going up to the Denver area. All those are possible. So, I don't see the problem. Now, if I was pulling a trailer that's stuck up fairly high, then I'd get a lot of air resistance, an aerodynamic drag that would cause problems for me. Yes. But, I mean, I don't do that, so I don't worry about it. So if you're one of those guys who worry about it, yes, I get it. If you're pulling a big RV trailer, and obviously this car can't do it because it only goes up 3,500 pound towing weight, then you're stuck with your truck. I mean, although I would dare you to do a comparison to what your MPG is when you're towing. See how much range you have lost. I'm guessing it's probably close to half, or maybe even more than half of what your normal range is. And so when an electric car is losing half its range doing the same kind of duty, then it's time to start thinking about what's right. Anyway, that's a side up. Sorry, I got on my soapbox. I apologize for doing that. All these things are things you should think through when it comes time for you to make that decision. And you should be thinking about it before you get up to that point, so you have the answers you need to make it work. Anyway, peace and harmony. I wish you the best of luck in all this. It's sometimes not an easy decision to make. But there you go. Good luck. Hope to see you out there.